Good. ThunderKnicks.
Hey guys, welcome back to the ThunderKnicks. I'm your host, Oliver, joined by Sharpie.
Hello.
Now, I'm going to have a bit of a rant today. I'm obviously not happy with the Thunder. We're going to start with the 73-point loss to Memphis, but I'm not happy with Stephen A. Smith. So I'm sure a lot of people saw what he said on Twitter. You saw what he said on Twitter, didn't you, Sharpie? So, yes, we lost by 73 points, and now he's calling out Sam Presti for not having a championship in 13 years or 12 years that he's been on the job. Just let me read out something for you. It might take a little bit. So 2009 was his first season. 2010, they finished the 8th seed. 2011, Western Conference Finals. 2012, Finals. 2013, first seed, and Russ had an injury. 2014, Western Conference Finals, and Ibaka had an injury. 2015, KD had an injury. 2016, Western Conference Finals, KD leaves. They choked it. And if we beat the Warriors, we're arguably going to win a chip. 2017, Russ MVP, 6th seed. 18 trade for Paul George, 4th seed. Paul George re-signed 6th seed next season. 2020, trade for CP3, 5th seed, and went into a Game 7 against the Rockets. Then we start the rebuild by trading CP3 and getting a ridiculous amount for him, even though you look at the Suns now. And then a year and a half into the rebuild, people are saying that we need to fire Presti. I mean, am I being biased at saying that Presti is one of the best at his job in the league, or is?
I wouldn't say he's the best.
Not the best, but like he'd be in the top 5 or something, top 10. You could argue
he's doing well.
Yeah,
he's doing well.
And
for someone to go into a rebuild, but then have all those assets for a rebuild, that's perfect. You know, most people just have the one draft pick a year, then they'll get the one player and then just build on from there with some free agents. He's gone out and got heaps of draft picks. So even if one, that's given him more of a chance to find that one superstar, even if one becomes a bust.
Yeah. And like 1.5 years into this rebuild, we've got SGA, who's 23, who could arguably be a future All-Star. Well, he's not probably there this year just yet, but he's getting close. You got 22-year-old Lou Dort, who could be an all-defensive team candidate in the future. I mean, we need to have a better team so he can actually make a case for that. And he's averaging 17 points. So, I mean, that's not too bad. And you've got a 19-year-old Rookie of the Year candidate in Giddy. I mean, that's not – and you've got, like you said, a shit ton of those draft picks. I think we've got 3 first-round picks this year. And, I mean, I know it's not likely, but if the Clippers fall out of playoff contention, who knows where that pick could land us in the lottery. I mean, could have 2 picks in the lottery, do a Warriors. But I just think, like I think we spoke about it earlier, Stephen A is just trying to get his clicks in. I mean, everyone else spoke about it, and he spoke about it a few days later, so he had to make say something controversial. So he's like, "Oh, fire them." But no one wants to talk about OKC when we beat the Lakers or anything twice from coming down 20 points. They just want to talk about how bad LA is, not maybe how good OKC did. So just a bit of venting there for you. But I mean, I'm not surprised because it's like we're still better than 3 or 4 teams in the NBA. Well, we're not meant to be, and we didn't have Giddy, SGA, Kenrich Williams, and Derek Favors. Now, obviously, we wouldn't have won that game, but it's still
would have been a more respectable defeat than it was.
Well, I'm not saying SGA is a 73-point difference, but I mean that changes the whole thing of the game. And like he had a concussion, and I got pissed off watching that game because he got hit in the head by that fucking Garrison Matthews for Houston, and neither of them were a flagrant, and he's come out with concussion. It's just ridiculous. But enough of venting about that. But we're on an 8-game losing streak, which I'm not too upset about. And we versed the Pistons today. Now, this is a big game in the reverse standings where we are
The
currently
tankathon.
the tankathon. We're currently 4th in the reverse standings. So this is a big game, and it has helped that the Rockets are on a 6-game win streak. I couldn't be happier about them going on a 6-game win streak, all without Jalen Green. Is that a surprise, Sharpie, that it's without Jalen Green? I mean, they've got a lot more assists, apparently. I was listening to this morning. They're averaging a lot more assists and the ball's moving a lot more. Do you think Jalen Green's to blame a bit? Or I know this is a OKC and Knicks one, but I just want your quick take on that.
No, I don't think he's to blame. I just think that whole team's in shambles anyway. So
It'll be interesting to see what happens when he comes back. But right now, he's probably not even on track to make the first team or rookie, maybe just the second team. But so we're 4th in reverse standings. We should lose. And our next week has got the Pistons. Well, Pistons today. We've got the Raptors, Lakers, and Mavs. Now, we're probably going to beat the Lakers because we always do somehow. But if we don't, this could easily be a 12-game losing streak. It'll be very interesting going into the next week because I've heard heaps of people say, "Oh, they need to fine OKC for what they're doing." It's not like they could control SGA having a concussion, Giddy being sick, and Kenrich Williams being actually injured. I don't know what's wrong with Derek Favors, but I get last year we got a bit of flack for what we did with Al Horford and that. But what's the point in playing them if you're gonna finish fucking 11th? You're not even gonna get in playing. But
it also diminishes their trade stock as well. So if you were to play Al Horford last year, his trade stock would have plummeted heaps.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have been able to get at the time Kemba for him.
Yeah.
So it's best off that you were doing that and not playing him, also helping Al Horford out as well. He could have picked up an injury, then not played, and that would have been bad for him. So,
and it would have been not end of his career, but no other team would have wanted him. And now we've actually got something in return for him. But what was I going to say? I've completely forgot it now. Fuck. Anyway, we'll move on. I think we should go 0-4. If we beat the Pistons, we beat the Pistons. I think we've got SGA and Giddy back. Oh, that's what I was gonna go on about a bit about the next rookie. Now, I haven't been keeping up to the college basketball as much as you have. How is I think Paolo and Chet Holmgren played against each other the other weekend, didn't they? Do you want to?
Yeah. A couple of weekends ago, they did. Paolo ended up winning the battle of that one.
I saw a few highlights. It just looked like Paolo was bouncing off the chest of Chet Holmgren, which, I mean, looking at the shape of Chet, it's just that's going to happen. But from what I hear, people say I think you've even said it, you're going to have another Pokachevsky if we draft Chet.
And that's not a skill.
I feel like that's disrespectful to Chet.
That's a body type at the moment. I don't know what's to go with Chet. I don't know if he's gonna. He doesn't really need to. I mean, he seems to be doing well without it, so that's good for him. It's just gonna make him look like twins on the court. I'm gonna get confused on who it is.
Yeah, I feel like the difference is though that from what I hear at least and what the highlights I've seen, Chet looks like he can actually properly play power forward and center, whereas Poku's predominantly a wing. Yeah, well, no clue, but he's predominantly a wing. He can play forward, but he's not very good at it. But I just feel like it's a bit disrespectful to Poku because he's so good. But no, but I always forget the name of the center I like, the undersized center.
Jalen Duran.
Yeah, Jalen Duran. I wouldn't even mind him. So we need to draft a big man, and I feel like the way we've done the picking up Giddy in the last draft, looking at it now is probably a perfect fit for what we did. I mean, obviously we would have wanted probably Scotty Barnes if we could have traded up to get him, but I don't think that was going to be on the table. But taking him over Book Knight, who's not getting any minutes really in Charlotte,
Playing G
and
League mainly.
yeah, and Kaminga, who if we drafted Kaminga and then going into the next draft, you're going to take Paolo Banchero, hypothetically, if we get up that high, you're taking Paolo Banchero or Chet Holmgren. I just feel like there would have been no real shape to the team. But
Yeah.
looking at it, but I guess that's a benefit of having hindsight. But yeah, I just thought I'd touch on that because OKC's we're getting there. 8-game losing streak. We're going to be thereabouts at least. We'll move on to the Knicks. I'll just start off by leading a 3-game losing streak. They had a good game. Oh, I'll say they had a good game against the Bulls. They were down 21 and then they come back, but still lost. And what
we're
did you
even in
want
the
to?
lead at one. We're even in the lead at one stage as well.
What do you want to touch on from other than Scott Foster and the refereeing? What have you liked much from the Knicks, even though it's a 3-game losing streak?
I would have liked to have seen us beat the Nets. I reckon we could have beaten the Nets. But once again, that's just down to horrible officiating and even the Bulls game as well. I think the Bulls game with the officiating was just a big fuck you because of what Randall and Tibbs said the game before. And the Nuggets game, I mean, that was just horrible defending. Really, there was no like we let Zeke Naji. Sorry,
Yeah, I saw that.
I heard of you, but I've never like
watched him or
I've never watched him because I don't watch Nuggets games. But yeah, we let him go off and have like 24 points or something, and that was horrible. And yeah, just the perimeter defending was terrible. Like you can't do much about the Brooklyn game, but when you got Harden clawing the ball while running in, so he's going to get fouls like every time.
I can't believe you let him get a putback dunk. And
yeah, that was embarrassing.
But I think, like you said with the officiating, Taj Gibson's one of the nicest players, arguably in the NBA. Like he's always smiling and stuff. And Caruso, and he has a habit of flopping around screens. Like Caruso's a good defender, but he is known for flopping around screens. To call, I think do you have 2 in a row? That's why Taj was pissed.
He did it, and then after Taj got ejected, he did it again when Randall was going for it, like he was boxing out Caruso.
Yeah.
And then Caruso, when Randall went into the box out position, Caruso was just on the ground and there was called an offensive foul.
Yeah, I think that's just a load of shit. Like,
yeah,
you can't. I don't know what Taj said. He looked like he just said that's 2 now or whatever, and he did look fairly animated. But you can't be ejecting him. And I think Mike Breen wasn't happy on the podcast, on the commentary. He was like saying that the referees need to keep their cool as well as the players. They can't just go ejecting people, especially it was the first quarter, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the first quarter. Fair enough, you're going to give a tech or something, but don't eject him.
Yeah.
The amount of times like something else has happened. Like you look at the LeBron situation where like when he was yelling, that's our ball. Nothing happened after that. And he was on the bench.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Some referees are just so trigger happy with like technicals and stuff like that. And I don't see why you do that to a player. Not only that early on in the game, but a player like Taj. Like, say if it's someone like Boogie Cousins or someone that's an absolute psycho and he's berating the ref, I get maybe giving him a tech straight up, but ejection, it's still too much of a stretch. But you didn't have RJ that game, did you?
Yeah, he's out with illness from which I'm assuming is from when AD had flu-like symptoms. But
yeah, how are they allowed to play? How is he allowed to play with flu-like symptoms and then gets a few Knicks players sick? I mean,
because LeBron was out that game, so they got to make sure that he was there.
Make it somewhat close, but I mean, you would have been happy with quickly starting for while RJ was out.
Presuming. I was legit expecting him to start Derrick Rose or put Kemba back in the starting lineup straight away.
Would you have complained if he started Derrick Rose? I know you want probably quickly to get the starting spot, but like Rose is playing well. I
feel like quickly is better when him and Obi Toppin are on the court.
Yeah.
So I would have I would have liked that a bit more, even though they played on the court together anyway
Yeah.
at the same time. But no, it's good. I'm glad Tibbs has finally taken notice that Quickly can be a good combo guard. He can be a good facilitator as well. So I'm hoping to see that more
Yeah.
now that Kemba's not starting. Like
Yeah.
as much as I love Alec Burks lately, he's been doing really well.
Mm,
I would like to see Quickly start.
yeah. And he needs that time now because, like, I wouldn't say they're meaningless games because if they want to get top 4, they need to lift a lot. But, like,
Yeah.
if he can get, like, say, 25 minutes starting while RJ or 30 minutes starting while RJ Barrett's out, that takes a load off RJ Barrett going into playoffs. So he doesn't have to play 38 minutes. And I'd like to see RJ, if he doesn't play 38 minutes, I think he can probably build a lot more consistency because he's not going to be just tired all the time. Like, I kind of feel bad for him being a third-year player now, and playing the most minutes last year. I feel like if he gets consistent minutes, but he's not he's not running to the ground, maybe he's fresh enough to play well in back-to-back games or situations like that. That's just my point of view. But
Tibbs did come out and say that he wants RJ to play more minutes with the bench unit and that, just to see how he goes with that team. Not so much benching him and not starting him in that, but just playing a few more minutes with them. So maybe taking him out early and then bringing him on when the bench unit's still on.
Well, he could obviously got Quickly in Rose, but like he could be one of the main, like probably the first option with that bench unit. Whereas if you got Randall, he's always going to be the first option with the starters. But maybe his efficiency goes up, maybe it goes down. I don't know, but
I mean, his efficiency isn't that great at the moment.
Yeah,
so.
it should only go up. But I think he always defends though. So I mean, he's always providing something at least on the court. But I do like that Tibbs is making changes like what he's done with Kemba, and he's accepted like your defense is like a bottom 5 or bottom 10 now after being top 5 last year.
There was an image that I saw on Twitter the other day. Oh, and yesterday actually, it was like, I can't believe this was our defense. And it's everyone in the paint pretty much, and then 3 people out on the arc open.
Yeah.
And just allowing the 3-pointer. Like, I don't know what the hell was happening there. But
everyone's collapsing. That's what Mike Breen was saying.
I don't even know what's happening. Like, I don't even know what's going on.
Mike Breen was saying that on the call. No, not Mike Breen. It was the Bulls. I'm getting a call for some reason. The Bulls were when they were versing him, they were saying how bad they were at defending the 3. And next thing you know, after he said that, the Bulls got 3 threes in a row. And it's just like...
Yeah, it would have been Vucevic as well.
Yeah.
There would have been that time where Mitchell Robinson kept switching off Vucevic and then just leaving him open.
Yeah. But, I mean, you haven't been dreadful like, you did lose to the Nuggets by 14 or whatever, but you lost to the Bulls. You came back in that game and you didn't have RJ. You lost to the Nets. I don't think you had RJ. And that was a reasonably close game, even though you went down, I think, 13 in the third quarter. Yeah, maybe for you. But like, you haven't been getting blown out at least. And I feel like if you get RJ back, and now that Kemba's maybe out of the lineup, maybe that means more rookie minutes for, I always forget you guards, whether it's Quentin Grimes or if it's
Deuce McBride.
McBride,
Grimes has been playing some minutes, and that he's not like doing that well, like scoring wise. He's barely getting the ball, so that's fair enough. But McBride's doing well in the G League. I think he's had like 4 games in a row now where he's had 25 plus points. I think it was. So maybe bringing someone like him in as well, but I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like he's at least he's acknowledging stuff needs to change. I felt like for a period there he was just trying to pursue with that starting lineup. But yeah, he's made the changes and continuing on with some changes that could be made. We'll go to some possible trade rumors. Do you want to go through a couple of them that you've
Well,
heard?
I saw one. This wasn't an official thing, but this is just what I've heard down the Twitter in the Twitter sphere.
Mm.
It was Nerlens Noel, Kemba Walker, and a first round pick for Malcolm Brogdon.
Ooh.
So that'd be very solid to get someone like him in. Maybe getting rid of Noel would be the best for him, and best for me because I'm tired of watching him. So yeah, I reckon that'd be nice. I also saw another one. It's pretty much the same one, and Kevin Knox, and and maybe 2 firsts for Malcolm Brogdon and Sabonis, or
Oh, geez.
Malcolm Brogdon and Miles Turner. But I feel like if like that's a lot given up there for. I feel like Indiana were giving up too much in that one. So
Yeah, I think that would be a bit of a stretch. I feel like you'd have to give up at least. Wait, did you mention Mitchell Robinson in that trade?
yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
him is. Yeah. My bad.
Yeah, I feel like maybe you would have to give up Toppin or something like that, and I don't think you would want
Nah,
to
and I
necessarily.
don't think and I think if the Knicks want to have fans still,
Yeah,
they won't want to give up Toppin.
yeah. So obviously the Pacers are going to blow it up. Well, are reportedly going to blow it up because they're 6 and they're going terrible. I can't remember the exact record, but if you had to pick one player to bring, like, list those 3 players: Sabonis, Brogdon, and Turner, from first to third, who would you want on your team? Who would you want to trade for first to fit the Knicks?
All right, Miles Turner, I'd like him.
Mm.
Just what his versatility as a big man, can stretch the floor, can protect the rim. Yeah, I think that's good. Sabonis, obviously, because of his skill set, such a tall man as well. Yeah, another good scorer. Not
Yeah.
that great defensively, but he's a good scorer. And obviously, yeah, Brogdon third, but that's not
Yeah.
discrediting Brogdon or anything. That's just
Well, that's interesting because obviously I'm not the Knicks fan, but I had Brogdon first,
Yeah.
and then Turner second. I think that most of them would be, obviously you'd probably take Sabonis just because how good he actually is, but I don't see.
And he's an all-star as well.
Yeah,
So
maybe you could get him and then trade him on for a better player. I don't know, but like I feel like him and Randall would be an interesting fit. But I feel Brogdon, if you had him at point guard, like the defense would automatically probably go to a top 15 at least, because you got him, Barrett, Fournier, who's not the worst defender, but needs to be a bit better. Mitchell Robinson and Randall. I mean, that's a good defensive lineup. And then obviously it'll be the same with Miles Turner, but I think Miles Turner's just a better offensive Mitchell Robinson. But I mean, I think you can't go wrong with either one of those players if you can get one of them. It's just packaging the right deal. What would be the max? Like if you had to give up a lot, what would be your limit? A couple first, maybe one of your youngsters like Deuce McBride, or
yeah, probably something like that. We've got Dallas's picks and we got Charlotte's picks, so we can give those up because Charlotte, they're gonna go pretty well. Hopefully they keep up. I don't know, they're not playing well at the moment. So and Dallas has picked out. I don't know what's gonna happen there, so we can give that up.
yeah, I think that if you give 2 firsts and 1 or 2, say, including Mitchell Robinson and maybe a Kevin Knox or something, a star like Kevin Knox,
White flag.
I think that giving them up that for, say, a Brogdon or Miles Turner, I think that's probably a good deal. You probably need an extra, but I think one player that we've left out of these trade talks, and I don't know why, is Karis LeVert. Obviously, he's not up to the level of the other 2, but it'd be another good bench player if you got, say, Brogdon and LeVert.
He's a good 3-and-D player, so that'd be, and anyone who plays defense, Tibbs loves.
Mm.
So yeah,
And I don't know why, but I haven't heard the name TJ Warren in that long.
Mm,
Still injured. I feel bad for the man.
yeah.
But yeah, I think. Do you actually see the Knicks having any trades before the end of the deadline? I know that
I see.
think
I see
December
him making some
15th.
small moves.
Yeah.
I don't see him making a big blockbuster move.
Do you think it'll have like a move with players that are actually playing for your team, or do you reckon it'll be maybe a few picks and a Kevin Knox for just another bench unit player?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Robinson does move, but I don't know. We need a center that's not injured all the time.
Is he in a contract year?
Yeah, it's his last year of his contract, but I doubt it would be paying him as much as what
Yeah.
if anything, would probably give him 4 years, 40 million, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything big. Look, it's no disrespect. He's just injured all the time. He can't help that shit.
Yeah.
Um,
I haven't seen him shoot those threes that he did in preseason.
yeah, I don't know what the hell. I was expecting him to come out, start doing between the leg dribbling and everything, step backs, all that. Yeah.
Point center. But yeah, I feel like you are going to make a trade eventually, especially if this 50-50 wins versus losses continues. I think that well, Pacers are probably the most likely team to make a trade with you, I would think, but I don't really see any other team making a trade with the Knicks. I'm trying to think off the top of my head because there's no real players that I think that you need other than what the Pacers are offering. So unless you've got any off the top of your head, but the interesting thing is, so your next 4 games, you got Spurs. I don't know if you play them today or not. Who have actually they've actually been playing well. You got the Pacers, so maybe that's just a little bit of a preview. The Raptors and the Bucks. Now, what do you expect? That's pretty tough schedule, especially with how Spurs have been going. Do you expect to go 3-1? Oh, I've got you going 3-1, but
I can see us going 3-1, but the way we're playing at the moment, we're probably 3-1 the other way around.
Really?
Yeah.
Raptors are just starting to not hit their strides, but they're had a little bit of a bounce back. Pacers are always going to be a good game against the Knicks, I feel, even though
we haven't lost them in a while, so.
Even though the Pacers are terrible, I think they always put up a half decent fight against you. And Bucks. I mean, I could see you beating the Bucks.
Yeah.
But I mean, no Brook Lopez. Maybe Boogie Cousins will come out and have a career night against you.
Wouldn't be surprising. Everyone else seems to have him.
Yeah, just like everyone else. Well, I think we're just reaching up on the 30-minute mark. Was there anything else that you wanted to touch on for the Knicks?
Nah, that's pretty much it.
Except for Kemba. What are your thoughts on what he said today?
I think that's good. I think that shows good maturity in that. And it also helps us, like, the image that we have as well. You know, you're not just going to be hoarding these players. And so, like, it makes us look like we're the assholes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like what he said. It's good veteran thing to say, you know, you can help out as much as you can.
Yeah.
To these young guys that are in the team. So that's good.
Yeah, I think that and it's not like he's sitting on a massive contract that no one wants. It's not like he's taking money from him and he's just sitting out.
Exactly.
He's actually, and I think he wants to be there, even though he's not playing, to just be in New York at the games. And
he came out and someone asked him in a press conference that, do you see yourself being at this team by the end of the season? And he said he doesn't know. So,
like, he's willing to accept anything, but
yeah,
I nearly think by just looking at him, like on the sidelines and stuff, he'd probably rather try and work his way back into the team, even though it might be hard, than get 20, 25 minutes at a shit team that he could get traded to.
yeah. I could see a possible, like, big team wanted to go for him just to have him there. And, you know,
contract.
yeah, exactly. So that's got good flexibility there with that contract that any team would be willing to take him on.
And just bring him off the bench.
Risk. Yeah, it's a small risk. So
I'm just trying to think of a team that might want him. Like, I mean, the Bucks would be interesting. Obviously, they've got a pretty good defensive team, especially with the bench unit and stuff. So, I mean,
I see Philly being interesting as well.
yes, true. Well, hypothetically, if Philly got Kemba, then that might push Ben Simmons for CJ McCollum deal, because
Yeah.
then you've actually got you're not getting your worth for Ben Simmons, but
If we can get Tyrese Maxey in return, I'd be very happy with that. I'd be
well,
very, very happy.
who would you want in that? I don't think Maxey would be probably off the boards, but and Seth Curry I think would be off the boards. I'm just trying to think of a Philly player that you would get.
Tobias Harris probably, but we don't have the cap space for him.
Yeah,
They're really Andre Drummond I'd like, but he's on a 1 year, so he can't be traded.
yeah. I really don't know who's on the Sixers that play. You don't want a friggin' George Niang or whatever. I mean,
I don't know. He seemed to go off against us when we played him.
But yeah, I can't think of anyone really. It'd be interesting. You would get at least a good bench player for Kemba.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you would need, or just a defensive guard or something. But cover up for quickly and stuff. But we'll leave it at that. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, too easy.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you again on Thursday or Friday. I haven't decided yet. We'll see what happens. Anyway, see ya.